You appeared in someone's dream. This is no coincidence. It is a clear sign. The messages are intense. You feel it even if you don't want to admit it. Denial is already failing. Reality begins to infiltrate. You know this. Don't fool yourself. This person evokes memories, stirs emotions, awakens longings, and you retreat. Justify, hide, do not act. The pattern is evident. The cycle repeats. And you find yourself trapped in a labyrinth of unresolved feelings. This is not confusing. It is painful, because facing the truth requires courage. If the connection were real, the visit to the dream would not cause strangeness. If there were clarity, there would be no need to silence your own feelings. You call it passage, because end requires action. You call it destiny because choice requires responsibility. The bond persists because you feed it, not by force, but by your hesitation to cut ties. Those who distance themselves don't need to explain. Those who remain justify too much. Today you try to understand the visit as something casual, when you should accept it as an invitation to reflection. When someone truly cares, the contact does not need to be dreamt. The presence is constant. The intention is clear. The rest is just an illusion. If you need to fight to maintain attention, you've already lost. If you need to compete against silence, you are not a priority. If you need to beg for recognition, that is not connection. It is wear and tear. You are not lost. You are stagnant. And remaining stagnant is a decision. The raw and harsh truth is this: nothing changes because changing is not convenient for those satisfied with their own comfort zone. As long as you continue to believe the visit to the dream is just a coincidence, the scenario will remain unchanged. For the other person, you don't need more interpretations. You don't need more dreams to decipher. You don't need more reflection. You need to decide whether you will continue accepting this situation. There will be no peaceful resolution here. There is only the moment when you decide to act. This moment does not appear without you doing something for it. You feel the tension in the air. With each passing day, the memories intensify. It's not just a dream. It's a call, a restlessness that refuses to be ignored. You are not dealing with uncertainties. You are confronting truths that have been buried. This person may have appeared as a mere ghost in your mind, but in reality, they are a reflection. Each memory brings to light not only what was, but also what could have been. You revisit the moments, the conversations that never happened, the feelings that were never shared. This is not just nostalgia. It is a wound that still throbs. The cycle becomes an echo. You think, if only. But this line of reasoning is a trap. Questioning the past does not bring answers. You remain in this emotional abyss, diving into repetition. What you ignore is that this connection does not dissolve with time. It accumulates. It becomes part of who you are. If you do not face this reality, it transforms into a weight, a burden on your back. Meanwhile, life continues around you. Other people come and go, but none of them can fill the space that this presence left. You find yourself in an endless cycle, where time is an ally for some, but a cruel adversary for you. You watch others move toward the future, and you remain trapped between what was and what could have been. You try to rationalize it. You try to tell yourself that it's over, that you've moved on. But these are just empty consolations. What exists between you is an invisible thread that does not break easily. On the contrary, it tightens, and the more you try to ignore it, the stronger it becomes. The silence weighs. Every unreceived message, every call not made, all of it turns into a deafening scream. You wonder if the other person feels it too, if the visits in dreams are an echo or a call to action. There's a fine line between hope and illusion, and you walk on that line, balancing between desire and reality. And here is the question: what do you really want? What would it take to break this pattern? You might keep thinking about the possibility of rekindling, but that just creates more confusion. What's at stake is much deeper. It's about your ability to decide, to act. You need to fish out the truth that's been hidden under layers of doubt and fear. You tell yourself that you need a sign, but the sign has already arrived. He saw you in his dreams. It's time to stop waiting for external validations. The power resides in you. The choice to act is yours. Whether you seek that answer, leave the past where it belongs, or allow this shadow to shape your future. What will you do with this information? The responsibility is in your hands. It's not enough to just dream. You need to turn the dream into reality. You need to face the pain, not as a burden, but as a necessary step toward liberation. Freedom comes from action. Change requires courage. These cycles do not disappear on their own. They will repeat until you decide to confront them. Each moment of hesitation strengthens the bond you already know you need to break. Don't have illusions. What stays in secret will continue to define you. When you finally make the decision to act, you might discover that the other person is waiting as well. And perhaps in that act of courage and vulnerability, you can find a new path together. Or maybe you will find that true liberation comes from accepting that the past is irreversible. No matter what the outcome is, the first step is to get out of this state of stagnation. Inertia only perpetuates pain. Your choice defines what you allow in your life. The time is coming when you will need to ask yourself, what am I willing to do to change this? Reflect on that. The cost of remaining inert is high. The price of action is uncertain, but the reward can exceed any expectation. Every second that passes is a reminder that life does not wait. Opportunities do not repeat themselves, and the visit to the dream was just the beginning. The situation will not change as long as you stay in the same place. Take the step. Untie the knot that you made yourself. Only then will you discover what really exists beyond the labyrinth. What is at stake is your ability to free yourself. The decision is all yours. Within this emotional labyrinth, a new layer reveals itself. Like an onion, its layers unfold, exposing not only the connection with this person, but also the echoes of your own insecurities, fears, and unresolved longings. You begin to realize that what binds you is not just the connection that ceased to be, but the part of yourself that was lost in the process. You ask yourself, how far are you willing to go to find yourself again? That doubt echoes within you like a distant drum. It is a call to action mixed with the fear of failure. Each impulse toward change is immediately confronted by an inner voice that says, what if this doesn't work? That voice whispers lies, feeding your hesitation and making you believe that staying in your comfort zone, even if uncomfortable, is safer. The memories of this person start to take on new forms. They are no longer just memories. They become reflections of who you were and who you could become. Each dream brings to light aspects of your life that were neglected in the name of a connection that no longer exists. You feel the need to reclaim those fragments of your identity that were left behind, suffocated by waiting and inaction. The cycle isn't just a waiting game, it's an internal struggle. Behind the desire for reconnection lurks the fear of rejection. Looking inward, you realize you may have placed more expectations on this person than you should have. The reality is that you allowed yourself to be defined by someone who cannot or does not want to take on the role you had wished for. This recognition is painful. You don't just dream about their presence, but also about the validation that never came. And what if you decide you're ready to break this pattern? What happens when you choose to take a step towards a new future? The possibilities expand before you, but emotional paralysis still weighs heavily. You think about the conversations that never happened, the clarity that could have existed, and you realize that all this reflection is a glimpse into your own vulnerability. A new idea invades your mind. What if the visitation in dreams isn't just about the other person, but also about you? What if these visits are invitations to explore your own shadows and illuminate parts of yourself that were forgotten along the way? What do you really feel when you come face to face with this image in your subconscious? Is it possible that instead of waiting for their action, you could be the agent of this change? Walking through this new understanding, you start to see that discomfort is a sign that transformation is near. The weight that once seemed unbearable now transforms into fuel. You have the capacity to redefine what this connection means to you, to adjust your expectations and, more importantly, your boundaries. This requires courage. Facing what was, accepting what will never be, and embracing what you can do now, that is the real challenge. The idea of action transcends a simple phone call or message. It's an internal revolution. You do not need anyone's permission to move. You can start exploring new dynamics, let go of what no longer serves you, and finally allow new relationships, or even new versions of yourself, to enter your life. The act of moving away is often seen as a loss, but it can be liberating. By letting go of what you thought you needed, you open yourself to new experiences, authenticity, and true connection. The loneliness you fear is not an enemy. It can be a space for growth, a fertile ground to replant your hopes and dreams. As you reflect on all this, you understand that pain is part of the process. Not a pain that paralyzes, but a pain that teaches. A lesson of self-affirmation, of discovery. You can choose to see yourself as a survivor or as a prisoner of your own narrative. The choice has always been yours. And as you navigate these emotional waters, you accept that there may be difficult days ahead. Confronting old patterns, letting go of the past, requires work and self-compassion. This is a moment to celebrate small victories. Every step you take towards freedom is a step towards your true essence. You begin to understand that the echo of dreams does not end in nostalgia, but initiates a new chapter. You no longer need to wait for someone else to be ready to act. You can be the protagonist of your own story. Reality has already been presented, and now is the moment to shape it. The decision to act is yours alone. Every move you make towards the future becomes an act of empowerment. You are not just leaving behind a connection, you are allowing yourself to enter a space of new possibilities, and thus the journey continues, not in search of someone who disappeared, but in search of yourself. You find yourself on the edge of an emotional precipice. The decision is not simple. Each step towards the unknown carries echoes of what was. But this echo, once deafening, begins to transform into a whisper. As you reflect, you understand that this person, although present in your dreams, cannot be your anchor. Each memory is a facet of something greater. You realize that for a long time, you held on to an idea of love that was never real. That idealized image, fed by selective memories, now dissolves before the raw and naked truth. This connection was a reflection of your own insecurities. It's not her you desire, but what she represents. The security, approval, and affection you felt were absent. Each day that passes, the reality of your being becomes more vivid. The emotional labyrinth is not just about the other person, it's an intimate and personal journey. You seek to understand the mysteries of yourself, diving into the depths of what you truly want. And there, in the darkness, a faint light emerges. Self-discovery. The weight of expectations, of unfulfilled dreams, begins to give way to the relief of a new perspective. You don't need external validation. The key to true liberation lies in recognizing your own strength. The layers of the onion you uncover are not mere memories, but parts of who you are, fragments that call for recognition. By accepting these parts, you allow yourself to reconstruct the narrative you carry with you. You are not alone in this process. Each step taken towards freedom reverberates in the connections around you. Friends, family, new humans, they begin to appear. Their voices are not mere noise. They offer a new kind of welcoming. In these new relationships, you find the foundation to explore the truth. The doubt that once limited you transforms into curiosity, a healthy curiosity that challenges the past and seeks new possibilities. As you detach yourself from what no longer serves you, the path opens. You start asking difficult questions. What would your life be like if you weren't held back by what once was? What could you explore if you let go of the need for approval? There is a world out there waiting for you. A world that is not defined by the presence or absence of someone, but by your own will to exist fully. In moments of solitude, you realize that this space is not an emptiness to be feared, but a blank canvas, an invitation to paint your own story. Each brushstroke is a choice that shapes the future. With each new experience, you redefine what it means to be whole. The integration of your pieces becomes clearer. The visit to the dream carries new meanings. It is not a prison. It is a powerful reminder that you are capable of loving, feeling, and living, regardless of who is or isn't present. The connection you thought you needed to be complete has always been within you. And now, as you reflect on this, you realize that solitude is, in fact, a space for growth. You don't need to wait for the other person to manifest once again. What matters is what follows this visit. What will you do with this open and renewing mindset that you now possess? Each day is a new chance to rediscover the energy that once only flowed around another person. This energy, now redirected, can fuel new dreams, new goals, new connections. You commit to cultivating a deeper relationship with yourself, a relationship founded on honesty, integrity, and self-love. When you finally realize that you are ready to move forward, all the shadows seem to diminish. You rise and set out for new adventures. It may be uncomfortable, but the pain is now an ally, a guide in the journey. She teaches that every ending is in fact a new beginning. One cycle says goodbye while another starts. Memories do not disappear. but you learn not to let them govern you. The past serves as a teacher that shapes but does not determine who you will be moving forward. The freedom you sought was not in the other person, but within yourself. The journey advances, without illusions, without constraints, with gratitude for what was, but also with the firm intention to embrace what is to come. And so, looking to the future, you see not just promises, but a vast and open space to discover new layers of yourself. Each step is a manifestation of the courage you have cultivated, and each day brings a new opportunity to reinvent yourself.